Good evening, folks. It's Gardel here. It's 6 o'clock. This is the national support session for the second assignment. Some brief feedback on the first assignment. You should have got your assignment back. I wrote quite a lot of notes on those assignments. I hope you've had the time to work through those notes and read and see what's going on there, so that you understand what you've done and why you've got the marks you've got and why you didn't get the marks you might have expected. I think in general everybody did quite well, and I was quite happy with the overall performance of the class in that assignment. I thought it was quite solid. So the second assignment builds on that one. I'm going to take you through some technical things, and then I will discuss what you need to do, how you need to do it. Rabia, I see your question there. I'll address that question soon. So let's get into it. The basis of the second assignment is your first assignment, right? So when you start your second assignment, right at the beginning, you need to give a little introduction and a short, and guys, please, I'm talking about 4 or 5 lines, an overview of what your app is about. Just to remind me again, just so that I'm on the same page as you are, so that I can remember, okay, yes, it was that one. It just makes life so much easier if you give me a short overview. But in any case, let's get into the details of what we need to do. This is due on the 12th of May. Opening my calendar. That's this weekend, according to what I see. Just check your PAS and make sure that you are up to date. Last weekend with the public holiday and all of that type of thing, we got a bit caught out. Remember, the time now to submit is 23:59. Please don't wait for 23:59. It's very easy that with a lot of people handing in at the same time, you might just hand in a little bit late. And remember, if you hand in late, you get the 15% deduction. Now, 15% deduction is quite a lot. So please, guys, try to complete this. Try to hand it in mid-afternoon on Sunday. And then you can see what your Turnitin looks like. Sorry, your Turnitin self-assign looks like, so that you know what if there's stuff that you need to fix and so on. You're not going to be using many references. I would expect a couple of references, but not many. But still, have a look at that and see what you can do. You hand in one report, right? So it's one document that you hand in, and in that report, it includes the Annexure A. Which is the LinkedIn part, but I'll get to that now. In total, 2,000 to 2,500 words is the overall report. You have a cover page, the intro, your question 2.1 and 2.2, I see I made a typo there, the conclusion, your reference list, and Appendix A, which is the Annexure A, which is the LinkedIn question for those of you that's looked at it. So let's look at what you need to do. So they ask you, so the idea is that you have now made the app. If you remember, your audience previously was government and funders, to see if they'll prepare to push money towards you, to fund the app, fund the development of the app. We've now moved past that phase, and we now have launched the app. So now the app's running. Now you need to popularize this, and you need to speak to the audience that's going to use the app. This is now the people that this assignment is marked or targeted at. So we're now looking at our audience. So they request that you create a LinkedIn profile, if you don't have one already, or create a dummy one. Yes, you should do this. But last year and at previous times, we had a lot of complaints around students saying, look, I have a LinkedIn profile. If I do all of this in my LinkedIn profile, it's going to mess with my actual profile, and I'm going to be friending people and following people and doing things on that profile that might cause harm to my actual social media presence. And I fully understand that, and I've got sympathy with that. For what I need to do and for what I need to mark, right? I can see everything in Annexure A if you complete Annexure A correctly. There's stuff you will not be able to do without a LinkedIn profile. I am not necessarily going to go to your LinkedIn profile that you are going to give me, simply because if you complete Annexure A correctly, I will have all the information I need. Then I do not need to go to the profile. So in short, what I'm saying to you is make sure Annexure A is completed. I will mark Annexure A. I'm not going to be marking on your LinkedIn profile. And make sure that you've got everything that you need in Annexure A, which I'll talk about now, and then you'll be fine. So firstly, if you go look at Annexure A is part of the assignment, you need to do appropriate picture of yourself. Guys, this is a business thing. Have a business picture. The picture that you've cropped out of the matric dance photo is not appropriate. If you don't have an appropriate picture, don't use a selfie. Selfies look strange, but get somebody to take a picture. Just dress yourself semi-smart, get some kind of blurred out background or something, and sit there and have somebody take a decent picture of you. It's not the rocket science. Then you need to list 5 entrepreneurial skills and explain what those skills are and why you believe you possess those skills, and put them into your Annexure A. And those entrepreneurial skills can be anything, but you need to justify, you need to explain where they come from. The next part of Annexure A is describe 5 people or organizations who you would have connected with. So who is it that you want to connect with? Now, they say people or organizations. I would choose organizations here. It'll become obvious with the next one why. But my inclination would be to go for organizations. Why would you have connected with them? What is their link to your product that you've developed? So you've developed this app, and this app is going to do something. It's going to give people access to medical care, for example. So who are those organizations out there that will be applicable to contact with? Medicine Sans Frontier, the Red Cross, or is that too big? Is it possibly a local hospital or a local NGO that teaches first aid? You need to look at where your app fits in and what your app wants to do, and find the appropriate people or organization that you would link up with on LinkedIn. And you need to say why. And this is where the key lies in, the why. To list five names or 5 organizations is not going to get you real marks. It's when you start saying why, that's where the marks come in. Then they talk about entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial influences that you would follow. There are 2 routes to go here, and this, because they're asking here for people, that is why I said as a previous one, I would probably go for organizations. Nothing wrong to go for people at both, but I would probably go organizations and then people. Now there's two ways. Sorry, I just need to clear myself. There's 2 ways to approach this. The one side of approaching this is, what value could these entrepreneurs, influencers add to you as an individual, as an entrepreneur embarking on your entrepreneurial journey, and explain why you say they will add this value to you as an individual. The other side is, they may have a skill set or they may be able to add value to your app. And to me, either or would be fine. I'm not going to be pedantic about which way you need to go, but you need to be able to show me what value they would add to you or to your app and why. If you can do that, I'm more than happy, and we move on. The last part is, you need to show 3 articles on the social issue that you are addressing from LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, you need to go find those 3 articles. You're not going to be able to find those articles if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, if you're not on LinkedIn. So if you give me 3 articles, excuse me. If you give me 3 articles that you've simply Googled, that's not going to work. They must be in LinkedIn. And then you need to do a 250 words per article overview of the article. If you prefer to do a 750 word literature review, by now most of you should have done the research module. This does not call for a literature review, because remember, in a literature review, literature speaks to each other, and there's synthesis between the articles, and we have the articles discuss with each other what's going on. They simply ask for an overview. So you can simply do an overview / summary of the 250 words per article, or a 750 words literature review would probably work better. But you won't be penalized if you just do a summary of the article. But folks, please, when I read the summary of the article, I need to understand why you chose this article in relation to what your app is trying to achieve and where you're trying to go. If you can't make that clear within that summary, it's not going to be real marks for you. Okay, so please let's try to do those the overviews in relation to ourselves as well as our product that we have put on the market. So that's the LinkedIn, the Annexure A part done. Any questions around that? Any clarifications? Anything you want to ask me or want me to explain further on? Okay, moving on to the second part, which is the essay part. So I would take this whole question, 250 words per article. Yes, that's correct, Mucha. So it's at 750 or 3 times 250 for the articles. That's the instruction in from the assignment itself. Okay, this Annexure A, I would put into as an annexure. So I would start my assignment with this question, the questions that come up now. So I would basically start it off with a cover page, and these are requirements that they say in the assignment. You must have a cover page, an introduction of 250 to 300 words. This is where I'll give an overview of the app and say what the app is about. But I'll also bring the social media and revenue and pricing strategy into that introduction. So the first question you have to answer is, how would you use the 4 drivers of revenue to generate a greater revenue? So there are 4 drivers. I've listed them there for you: customer, frequency, selling process, and price. And you need to take these 4. Now, it's very easy to go to the textbook and go to page 200 and whatever it is. I think it's 209 or 230, something like that. I don't know the whole textbook. It's 200 and something. And go give me a fat piece of theoretical foundation around drivers of revenue, and break it down into those 4 things. That's not going to help your case at all. Briefly, very briefly, describe the driver. So customer, for example, briefly, sentence or 2. And then describe how you are going to use that driver, how you're going to apply that driver in your app to address the social issue. Right? To get your app to sell. And I'm sitting here and making sell in inverted commas, because we don't necessarily have to get money. We must get traction. So the part here is application. It's not here. I'm not interested in the theory. You need to show that you have the theory. You need to be able to reference where you got the theory from. There's that referencing coming in that I spoke about earlier. But you need to apply it to your app, and the meaty part is applying it to your app, showing how the 4 drivers are used. And if you believe one of those 4 drivers are not going to work or not that applicable for your app, say so, but motivate it. Put it in the context of your app. Tell me why for your app price is not an issue, right? And I can hear gears going up on in people's heads, going clink 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 clink. Price is not an issue. It's a free app. there's a price there. The price is free. Why is it free? Does that drive people to the app? Does it drive people to use the app? Does that create greater revenue? And in this context, revenue is traction. How does this work? So those are the things that you need to address. Moving on to question 2.2, the pricing strategy. So the pricing strategy, there are just about 10, I think of them, 10, 12 of them, 9.6. What pricing strategy or strategies will you use? Now, once again, price, is it free? That's a pricing strategy. So once again, and pricing strategy, you could use a combination of pricing strategies. You've not got much space, so be careful about that. But you could easily use a combination. But once again, briefly describe the pricing strategy, the theory behind it. Always good if you, obviously you're going to use Nick, and what's the other guy's name? I think it's Murray, which is your prescribed textbook, but always great when you bring a second source in. And if you look up these things, if you look up pricing strategy, if you look at revenue drivers, you're going to find different texts talking about different ones. Try for one that's aligned with Nick and Murray. But it's always good to have a voice of another source there. Show further reading, show deeper interest, show deeper understanding. So yeah, so then determine which one of the pricing strategies you'd use, why would you use it, and then show how this strategy increases the consumer usage. Show how this works for you. The application, guys, once again, take it and apply it directly to your app. Give me the theory so that you can say, Carl, look here, this is the theory, this is the basis I'm arguing from. And from this basis, this is how it's going to work in my app. This is how I'm going to make this app work. This is how I'm going to make this app into a business. And that's again about 750 words. So if you look at this is 750. The previous question is 750. Your three sources are 750. So we now at 2,000. That's 1,005. 2,150, I think it is. Sorry, 2,250. And your limit is 2,000 to 2,500. So you don't have much space. These assignments are written quite tightly for space. So you've got to use your words and use them well to make sure that you get your message across. And guys, that's basically it then. Then you write a conclusion. Talking about social media, pricing and revenue to ensure the success of your mobile app. 250 words is about what you're going to have there. I think you probably, if you use your 750, 750, 750, you've got 250 words between conclusion and the introduction to get you full words. Guys, check your referencing. I know there's not going to be much, so make it perfect. Put it through something like Grammarly to make sure that your language is great. And then, as I said, submit early and check your plagiarism. This app is, this assignment is very, very straightforward, what you got to do. The difficulty in this, the tricky part of this, is the actual application to make sure that you can apply it to your app. If you want to abandon the app that you've chosen, and I've had students in the past said, look, Carl, this app is just not going to work. It doesn't work for me. I'm happy for you to do that. If you've got a really bad mark, or I said to you, look, this app is not really going to work, I'm happy for you to do that. A little bit more work. What you then need to do is write in the on the cover page. You say just a note on the cover page. This assignment is based on a different app to one addressed in assignment 1, and please see Annexure B. And in Annexure B, you do a 1-page. It's just explaining about your app. Be very careful. in doing that. I don't mind you doing that, but it's quite a radical move. But please, 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 before you do that, go read what the POE is, the final one that you've got to hand in, eh? Because you might be creating a heck of a lot of work for you in the final one, which you don't necessarily want to do. So think carefully. I would rather, and there weren't many people where I said, look, your app is not very possible or very practical. But if I said that to you, look at the app and make a couple of changes, and in that intro part, just explain it in a couple of words how the app can look differently. If you decide to take your app and adjust it, use an Annexure B for that. Put it in Annexure B and put it on your cover page and say, please see Annexure B to show how I changed the app in accordance with the feedback I got after assignment 1. Nothing wrong with doing that. And if that's going to improve your marks, please, guys, do that. Guys, that's what I've got for you. There's nothing much to say about this. As I said, it's pretty straightforward. Please, any questions? Okay, just one last thing from my side. There we go. Thanks, Michal. One last thing from my side. I have recently got, thanks, Rabia. I've recently had quite a serious knee operation. I'm not in the office, I'm at home at the moment. I've had a reconstruction on my one knee, and which means there's somebody taking care of my work at the office, which means I'm not as quick on my emails as I am normally. I'll still respond in 24 hours, but please be aware I'm not. I'm normally, I try to respond the moment I get an email, I try to respond immediately. But because I'm not sitting behind my laptop the whole day, and I'm basically lying in bed most of the day, I'm not as quick on my emails. I apologize for that. I am this week. I've got guys writing tests. I've got other assignments coming in over and above your assignments. So I am monitoring it specifically for my students that are busy submitting work. So if you do send me an email, make sure that you put the ENTP 73 what code assignment 2 in the subject line, so I can spot it and immediately address it and see what your issue is and give you an answer quicker, rather than I happen to come across it as I troll through my things. Okay, guys, thank you. Good luck. Work hard. If there's no questions, I'm going to end the session here. Thanks, guys. Keep well. Cheers.